Hi everyone, my name is Tori, and the somatic practice that I have chose to research this semester was the Feldenkrais Method. I initially picked this method because Feldenkrais was a word that stood out to me when I first seen it. I had never seen it. I didn't even know how to pronounce it, but I now know that the proper way to pronounce it is Feldenkrais. I also am aware that this method is actually named after the person who started it, Mojar Feldenkrais. And while he wore many hats, he initially started this practice after having a personal knee injury himself. One thing that really stood out to me about this practice was that there's actually two ways to do this practice. You can either do it individually, which is also known as functional integration, or you can do it as a group, and that is known as awareness through movement. And in these settings, whether you chose to do the functional integration and or the awareness through movement, you are basically instructed to do certain movements by an instructor. Initially, when I first started this research, I planned to do it every other day. However, with my busy schedule, I had to reduce it, and I got down to 3 times a month. I had the pleasure of finding a Feldenkrais Center in San Francisco, a movement center, where they offer in-person and online classes. And surprisingly, the classes were pretty cheap. It was only $20. After researching, I learned that to have this method, it usually can cost a lot of money, and I feel like that's why it's not really known. And on top of that, the instructors have to have a minimum of 8 hours in order to be able to lead this type of practice. One thing I would say after doing the Feldenkrais practice was, at first, it was really hard for me to focus. I was so giggly and it was really hard to focus. And oftentimes I feel like when you're moving a lot, you really don't